All you have to do is basically go online. There's a test from Squash Canada, and you go through and you get basically you pass the test, and you become a club level. Become a sort of a city level, you have to be assessed by an assessor like myself or one of the other assessors in the province, and one assessment, and you now become club city regional sort of club referee. Then the next level is more certifications and assessments. You get to a provincial and then eventually to a national referee. And then above that, there's a world referee level. We're still trying to figure that out. So we have one world referee in Ontario, and that's Wayne Smith. He's a great guy. He's trained all of us. He's super. So I've been doing this for a long time. 1982 is I was first certified as a referee. So it's been a while. I was national certification for 4 years. So that's sort of my history. I do a lot of the provincial tournaments as well as developments. I'll be there. Masters, so if you guys are playing as Masters, I'll be there. TRS. So we're going to talk about rules today. I was going to do a little introduction. I don't have any slides for this, so I do a little bit of overview, but if you just ask me some questions about that you have about the rules, so it's probably easier that are not interference. So interference is really how we referee's job. So as a referee, the duties of a referee are basically to control the game. And if you have a marker, there's a marker. It's usually a marker, we just keep score. But if you're a marker and a referee, you're doing both of those tasks. So I'll just think of them as one task. So you keep track of the score. So we all play point or rally now, depending on which level you play at. There'll be a number of either to 11 or 15. I don't know. The league, I think, you play until 15. Some leagues, the A League plays to 11. All the tournaments that run provincially and nationally are all to 11, except for the under 13s that go to 15. So point or rally is every rally wins a point. So starts out at 0-0. You can get 1 point for winning a rally. There's much more I can say about the point or rally system for you. Yeah. So I'm usually in the hand-out system. It used to be.
Oh yeah.
You give you a count, don't you?
Sorry?
You have to be
able to count.
Okay.
And if you get over 10, you have to take your shoes and socks off. And you have to win by 2
Or
points.
drop your pants, one or the other.
I was just going to ask about the winning by 2.
So win by 2. You have to win by 2. And so as an announcement, there's sort of ways to say things, right? Like the marketing rules of how to say, basically. So it's love all. So when you have 0, it's always love, right? So it's the old English tennis game, right? Adapted, I guess. So it's love all, 1 love, 1 all, 2 love, or 2-1, etc. all the way up. At say if you're playing to 11, at 10 all, it would be 10 all, player to win by 2 points. Right? So that's the announcement it has. So there's these announcements that happen after the game is over. 11-9, game to Smith. Smith leads 1 game to 11. So those are the kind of the statements that you make. And did we get some rule books, Colin?
I don't think so.
Did they not send some stuff to you?
No.
Oh my goodness.
It would be a good idea.
I can scream at Lindsay?
Yeah, she said she was going to carry them over plus a sign-up sheet. If you can just get a piece of paper and
Wonder if that was in that Purelator bag.
Well, actually, maybe.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
Let's open our mail. We thought it was a bill, obviously.
We never got
don't
it.
open bills.
We never got
It's like my phone at home. I don't answer my phone at home because the only people that know my number are the call centers.
Is it necessary to say hand in or hand out?
Not necessary, but it's generally what you'd say is hand out 4-3, and then so when it changes hands, you would say hand out. So that's the normal marking code.
do you normally wait till they're both ready before you announce the score, or do you? Cause I like hear sometimes that as soon as the ball is hit, it's like 4-3. You know, from the right, and then everyone's still rushing, and somebody start, oh, I wasn't ready.
Right. So I call the score. We tell people to call the score whenever you're ready to now.
Sorry, the only thing I get from her later is a subpoena.
That's awesome. I don't usually accept anything from the packet from the.
So there should be in there. There should be a sign up.
Sign up sheet.
Open that up, and there should be a sign up sheet.
You have to return to 1/3.
Oh, that way, no.
That's the way they can market to you.
So yeah, why don't you pass those around?
Yeah.
You ready to take one?
You need one, right?
I don't need one.
That's awesome.
So the question again was,
At what, like,
calling the score.
well, when people are ready, like I call the score just whenever I see everyone set, then I call the score.
Yeah.
So I go from the left, and I pause, and then when everyone's ready to go,
Right.
4-3.
Yeah. So I generally, we don't like to do that because then people will just kind of wander around until you, and then because you can't, because surely the players should not play until you call the score. So if all of a sudden they go to the box and hit the ball, you stop them and say, listen, we have to call the score. That's the order of things, right? You must call the score.
Okay.
So I usually make sure that I'm ready to call the score. So you would, and if I had some marking thing, I could show you how to mark. But from the piece of paper that you have, I usually have, you know, one column for A and one column for B, player A, player B.
There's
And-
sheets right there.
Is there? Oh yeah, there's sheets right here. Sorry.
We even got custom Dixie
So-
Squash ones.
So here, so
Go that way.
So on the sheet here, there's a player A here and a player B, so the, you know, Jones, Smith and Jones, right?
Yeah.
The event and all the rest of that stuff. Don't worry about all the marking. So generally I would say, if it was, you know, Smith is serving, right? I would say, you know, love all, you know, there's a whole announcement, but I won't worry about that, it's in the book. Of, you know, tournament, the event, you know, position, player serving, player receiving, love all, play, right? Best of 5 games total. So I usually put like love on this side, so that person is serving. So if they win the point, it's, you know, 1 love, and I put a serves from the right court, and I go 1 serving from the left court. Okay. So if they lose the serve, it's hand out, and that player comes in. So now this would be 1 all. Right. So when the score is tied, you say all. Right. It's not 1-1. It's 1 all. And so he wins, you know, 2-1. So I just put a little L there, and I know exactly what the score is, and then you just work your way down. It's very easy to do. So I like to do this because there's less to write. So some people go, you know, 2-1 left, right? So then they just read that out. But to me, it's a lot of writing, and I want the minimum amount of my writing so I can watch them all the time. Because what happens a lot of times is that you'll sit down, you see the referee writing, and some guy will chuck his racket in the corner, right? And like, what happened? What's going on? So we tell all the referees to watch the players as much as all the time, right? I won't get into conduct on here, but that's a whole different.
That's this guy here, last.
Bad conduct?
Is there any other comment?
Yeah, exactly. It's a whole set of rules about conduct. So then you go through, and if that person wins the game, it would be 11-9. Game to Smith. Smith needs 1 game. So those are the kind of the marking call.
Okay, I'm probably thick, or I was writing something down there. So what is the lot thing that is said before somebody knows they can serve? Like, is it the score?
You just
or-
announce the score.
Just announce the score, and then they know they can serve.
Right.
Okay.
So at the beginning of the game, there's a whole announcement.
Yeah.
Right, and I think there's, I think it's in the book there. This is maybe the abbreviated version of this one, for sure.
We don't read much.
It's so small.
Small type.
That's right, really.
It's almost like block 8 on there.
The average age of this club is like 50.
Yeah. So it says right there, like right in the middle, right in the middle of the book here, right? It goes, examples of markers call, so the match introduction is you'd say, normally you'd say if it's a tournament or something, you'd say it's, you know, Ontario Open, men's A, first round, Smith to serve, Jones to receive, best of 5 games level. So that gets everything going. And most people ignore that completely because, you know,
They know what it is.
They know where they are. So so as a referee, I don't, I'm talking to the crowd mostly for that. So in here, there's a setup of how to actually say all the different pieces that we said.
This is good, good. You've got all the lot of possibilities.
Yeah, so as a referee, you try to make sure, I'm sorry. So you are in charge of controlling the match, right? So if the ball goes out, you get it out. If the ball is served, if you serve the ball and it goes below the red line, what do you say?
Not
What's your service line in the middle of the court?
The cut line.
Down.
up.
Fault.
Fault, just call
On the
fault.
serve. On the serve, it's a fault, right?
Yeah.
So we've actually said any service fault is a fault, right? So if the guy serves it out of court,
Fault.
it's a fault. But, I mean, if you hold that, I'm not kidding. Out is out. So you've heard the difference of up and, or not up and down. So who knows the difference between not up and down? So you heard the term not up?
Not up is a double bounce.
So not up is a double bounce. Well, it's more than a double bounce, but that's one of them. Yeah. So down is it hits the tin, right, or hits the floor, right? So a not up is any illegally hit shot, right? So if the ball bounces twice, that's not up. If the guy carries the ball,
Throws it.
that's not up.
Double hit.
That's right. That's double. So any incorrect striking of the ball is a not illegal strike of the ball. But if the ball goes from the racket to the floor, it's down. So that's how I tell people the difference between not up and down.
How do you see a double hit on the guy's racket? Just listening to it, or how are you gonna know?
On the racket, well, the classic double hit is you're on the side wall,
Yeah.
and you
Bring
hit,
it both out of the
and you
back
try and
corner.
boast it and go straight up the wall, right? Because it hits the ball hits the racket back and hits the wall, right? That's the classic double.
Okay.
Right. But you can either see the ball go crazy, right? So you'll see the guy try and boast something and the ball goes, like, how'd that happen?
Mhm.
It's almost always a double.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if it gets there and he just moves the ball like this and all of a sudden it lifts it up like this, and so you know that he's carried.
Gotcha.
What other questions do you have?
The double bounce is hard to tell sometimes too. On
Right.
that second bounce, when you kind of catch it at the same time.
Yes.
It's maybe hitting the ground.
Yeah, it's so one of the the top levels, these guys, they think they get everything too, right?
Of course.
And they do 90%. They know, most of them really know when they got it, when they didn't. But sometimes there's classic examples that they don't, right? And so what we do is normally, unless it's obvious, we won't call it. We'll let them appeal, right? So there's a good point of appeal. So I think you've made a double bounce, right? That ball's not up. But you played it, and we keep playing in the rally. At the end of the rally, you go ask the referee, was that ball good?
Now, do you appeal by putting up your hand, or
No.
is there any signal at all?
No, we discourage people from signaling,
Okay.
right? Because that could distract the other player, like, what's he doing with his hand, right? So we normally would just tell people, don't signal, don't distract the other player. Just, we're watching.
Play the rally.
Play the rally and then say, but as a referee, I actually, some people say, well, all those balls good.